Welcome back once again to the Weeb Lounge. The anime that we're looking over today is Interviews with Monster Girls. This one is basically just a slice of life with some demi-humans in it, a little bit of comedy, and a whole lot of hyper vampire action. Okay, when you think about vampires, you don't really think like hyper, because nocturnal, all that stuff. Yeah, I'll get to it. Vampire is one of them. We got a few to go over. Now, the main protagonist of this whole story, it's not necessarily a story, but rather just a slice of life, daily life with these monster girls. But it's not that one with the Lamia. It's Interviews with Monster Girls. They're completely different. This one's more innocent, more fun, more comedic, and just overall a great anime. Main protagonist is Tetsuo. Tetsuo is the biology teacher in this show, but he has this odd desire to know a lot more about demi-humans. Now, in this show, in this world, demi-humans are kind of like a real rarity, right? They're often considered humans with handicaps, actually. But in actuality, you know, they have special powers and stuff, but a lot of those special powers and being a quote-unquote monster also gives them some negative side effects when they're just trying to live as a normal human. So, you know, you can, if your monster trait, demi trait is actually severe and or bad, you can actually get government assistance, you know, a little bit of a disability check or whatever for being a vampire or something. That's kind of odd. It's kind of neat, but odd. But anyways, Tetsuo is a really kind-hearted guy. He wants to go out of his way to understand all of his students, and typically in a school, you know, if you have one demi-human, it's kind of rare, right? Well, in this one, you actually have four. Three of them are students, one of them's the teacher. And he ends up building a little bit of a relationship with pretty much all of them. Alright, so the first girl that we're going to be talking about is Hikari. Hikari in Japanese basically means light. And that is not a name you really give to someone with a vampire trait, right? Okay, well, the thing is, her normal personality, she's light, bubbly, fun, very energetic. Everything that you pretty much don't think a vampire would be, right? The thing is, like, all the traits that we think of for all these type of different monsters and such don't necessarily apply 100% or even at all in some cases. Hikari, for instance, does need to basically suck blood, but she can eat regular food just the same. She needs the blood in order to basically live, but it's not like this. It's not like she has to go out and murder ridiculous amounts of people or anything. What actually happens is the government came in, gave her some assistance, and they just sent her some blood packs once in a while. Yeah. That's it. And, you know, she likes to eat, like, you know, liver and tomato juice or whatever, because it kind of simulates blood a little bit. It satiates her a little. But, yeah, the government sent her some blood packets once in a while. She's good. She's happy. She's a cheerful little blonde vampire girl. You don't really see many blonde vampires, do you? Maybe there's more than I thought. But every single one of these girls that I'm going to mention are students of Tetsuo. Now, Tetsuo, being the biology teacher, you know, he has this innate curiosity, and he also tries to treat all of these demi-humans as normal. You know, they all want to be treated normal. He tries to treat them as normal, and that kind of ends up building a connection and a lot of trust between the demis and the human. Okay, and I probably should go to the next character first, and that is Kyoko. Kyoko is a Dullahan. Think Headless Horseman, right? You got a body, no head, but she has a head, she just has to carry it around with her. You know, it's not attached. Instead, you got like smoke coming out of it. You know, typical, kind of like what's-her-face from Durarara. It's one of those things, only not missing her head, she has it with her and stuff. Well, if you think about it, doesn't have any powers other than that. There's, you know, no super strength, no super smarts, not anything like that. Think about your daily life if you had to carry your head around with your hands all the time. That would put you at somewhat of a disadvantage a vast majority of the time, wouldn't it? Well, I'm sure there's a few things that you can do that are advantageous to just leaving your head sit over in the corner while your body runs off and does something, but in this case, it's more of a handicap than anything. And I believe she actually could, because of that Dullahan Demi trait, she could get government assistance because of that, but apparently doesn't really want it because wants to live a normal life. And this girl, Kyoko, she is shy, passive, cute, very smart apparently. Apparently in the aptitude test to go to college or whatever the next step it would be, she's like number 1 in that. So she's really smart. But of course, having to carry her head around everywhere, you get kind of self-conscious about that, right? I mean, you can walk one way and just like kind of hold your head up and look right behind you or everywhere, or hell, you can hide your head in the closet and spy on people. I guess that's an ability. I mean, you can do whatever and use your head to. I ain't going there. I'm not going there. But she ends up building a relationship with Tetsuo and actually ends up falling for her teacher. She has a massive, massive crush on Tetsuo. Massive. All because of Tetsuo's kindness. The teacher guy, he's a big, stocky guy. He is actually incredibly physically able to do just about anything. He is a really fit guy. And, Kyoko is just like head over heels, to put it in a non-pun way, okay. She has a thing for teacher. That's what it is. And Hikari does too, but doesn't kind of say it. Instead, she helps Kyoko with her thing, right? It's whatever. And you think Kyoko would be really good on a swim team or whatever, because, whole breathing and stuff. Dullahan, she can eat normally and it winds up in her body. She can breathe normally, it winds up in the body. I mean, it's like they're always connected, but they're still separate. So it's just odd. But you think she'd be a really good swimmer because you put her head on the side of the pool, the body jumps in. You don't have to breathe. You're breathing air on the side of the pool while the body goes and does its thing. You think that's actually be a pretty good advantage. All right, third girl, Yuki. Yuki is considered to be a snow woman, and the mythology behind the snow woman is, the snow woman falls in love, gets a husband, and then gets depressed or her emotions go out of control, and all of a sudden she flash freezes her husband and kills him or something like that, right? Yuki is very, very afraid of this happening, so she tends to be a big loner, right? It's only through her interactions with Tetsuo that she learns, what her abilities are, the extent of her abilities, and the fact that, other than making things around her a little chilly, and, she can, when she cries, her tears can actually freeze. And if she sweats a little bit and, any little bit of heat or, is uncomfortable for her because, hey, snow woman, right? Same thing goes for Hikari, vampire. Heat and light she can handle, but not as well as normal humans. But Yuki, she's relies on Tetsuo to kind of learn about her abilities, learn that she's not going to hurt or flash freeze or murder anyone. And that helps her, come out of this shell. She always was a loner, didn't want anybody around, and now all of a sudden she realizes, hey, she's not a threat to anybody, so she can interact and have fun with everyone just as normal. So does Yuki have any kind of attraction to Tetsuo as well? I would say yes, there is, but probably not as strong as the other characters. And, another thing, Hikari, Kyoko, and Yuki, they all end up becoming friends. It's like slice of life little group and such, and, they're all friends. It's all the Demis students at the place, so, at the school, so they kind of form their own little group. And because Yuki's body is cold, and Hikari likes the cold, Hikari, for whatever, likes to hang around Yuki, hug her, and oftentimes nibble on her shoulder. Because Hikari's still a vampire, still would like to suck blood, but by doing that actually creates some kind of aphrodisiac effect or whatever. So if Hikari bites a guy, the guy could end up being attracted to her, and she doesn't necessarily want that at this time, inadvertently or otherwise. So she'll like nibble on her neck or whatever. I don't think she ever actually draws blood, and Hikari actually has a sister. A sister that is just a normal human. And the sister will just like hold out her arm like this And Hikaru was just like nibble, nibble, nibble. Never break skin, but just kind of get it out of her system, I guess. Just like nibble on her arm a little bit. Okay, you done, fine, fine. That's a weird sister relationship. You got a sister that's a vampire here, gnaw on my arm for a while. You're fine. Okay, it's different. It's different. Now, the one teacher that it happens to be a demi is actually Sakie. Sakie is a succubus. Now, when you think succubus, you think, an incredibly sexy lady, one whose pheromones can actually entice men to, draw attraction to her. She can just seduce anyone that she wants, right? Well, she does have that ability. She does have the pheromone thing. She can attract every guy to pretty much do anything that she whims, right? The thing is, she's trying to live as a normal human, and this is kind of a disability for her. Another one of those cases where, she could get a disability check from the government, because most succubus that are trying to fit into the human normal life actually kind of live more secluded, because if they go out in public, they risk that kind of thing happening, right? Well, she ends up being a teacher of all things, around a lot of students. Okay, around a lot of students that might be going through puberty. You think this could be an issue? Apparently it's not. Along with those pheromones, it's also like the look. So she puts on glasses to try to conceal a little bit of her look. She puts her long flowing hair into a ponytail to try to dull her looks a little bit. She wears a tracksuit to try to hide her very voluptuous body. I mean, you take all that apart and you just have her be her sexy as all hell, right? But she tries to conceal it as much as she can, and apparently that tracksuit actually ends up holding back some of the pheromone effect as well. So she can walk around other teachers and everything, and the teachers can kind of get a little bit of an uneasy feeling, but that's as far as it goes, as long as she's wearing the tracksuit and trying to maintain a little bit of social distancing, I guess you could say. But of course, Tetsuo, being as kind and considerate as he is, doesn't show any fear or any kind of effect that the teacher is having on him. So she ends up thinking of him as, maybe this guy could be the one, because apparently if a succubus actually, has children, then the effect goes down or away. So basically, if she starts a family, she won't be a succubus anymore, or it'll have a very small part of her life. So she starts to gain more attraction toward the teacher, while the teacher is trying his best to not show that the pheromones are having any effect on him. But Tetsuo is very, very much being affected by them. He is holding back as much as he can, as much as any human can willingly do. And that's basically the show. It's all about these characters coming to terms with their abilities and or learning more about their abilities, interacting in a daily school life with that little bit of a twist, and that is monster traits. And they don't go so extreme with the monster traits either. It's like with Yuki the Snow Woman, it's just a chilling effect. With Hikari being a vampire, she needs some blood and doesn't really care for light that much. Garlic, she'll eat garlic, stuff that smells and tastes like garlic all day. It doesn't bug her one bit. She likes it, actually. Apparently her sense of smell is heightened in a good way. So if the garlic has a good smell to it, she'll like it that much more. So it's kind of the opposite. And Kyoko, with having to hold her head around, that's all she does. She can hold her head here or throw it across the fucking yard if she wants to. I mean, do whatever the hell she wants. Probably not a good idea, but she could. And that's the show. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification button. And if you're in the mood for something lighthearted, comedic, fun, and something to pass the time in a good way, a good feeling way, Interviews with Monster Girls is definitely it. We'll see you in the next video.